Welcome to the Blueprint and the Waterway, Severing the Americas. This video explores the engineering, geopolitics, and climate reckoning of the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is a historical feat, a 50-mile span that saved 8,000 nautical miles, bypassing Cape Horn. Today, it's a modern artery handling 5% of global maritime trade and 40% of U.S. container traffic, worth $270 billion annually. The French attempt, a sea-level canal, failed due to the miasma theory, resulting in 22,000 deaths. The American success used an elevated lock system and vector control to manage diseases, completing the canal ahead of schedule with 5,609 official deaths. The American project's success was due to the, quote, vector war, an industrial sanitation campaign. Colonel William Gorgas led an eradication campaign against mosquitoes. This massive effort drastically reduced yellow fever deaths from a high of 178 per 1,000. The engineering marvel was built on systemic racial segregation. The gold roll, primarily white Americans and Europeans, received higher pay and better living conditions. The silver roll, mainly West Indian laborers, received less pay, lived in overcrowded barracks, and faced a significantly higher mortality rate. The canal functions as a, quote, bridge of water. Lake Gatun, 85 feet above sea level, is the reservoir. Locks move millions of gallons of water entirely by gravity. Zero water pumps are used, relying on gravity and electric motors to operate the massive gates. The cycle of control shifted from American territory to Panamanian independence. Key milestones include the 1903 Hay-Buno-Varilla Treaty, the 1964 riots, the 1977 Torrijos-Carter treaties, and the 1999 handover of full control to the Panama Canal Authority. In 1989, Operation Just Cause was executed. Over 20,000 U.S. joint forces launched simultaneous strikes to decapitate the Panamanian Defense Forces. This rapid, decisive operation prevented insurgency or sabotage to the canal infrastructure during the transfer of power. Addressing geopolitics. While rhetoric suggests the canal is controlled by foreign influence, the reality is different. The Panama Canal Authority, a sovereign Panamanian entity, strictly controls and operates the waterway, demonstrating independent judicial power. The canal is a geographic necessity for the global energy trade, yet it faces disruption. Unreliability and delays caused U.S. LNG bound for Asia to plummet by 82%. Ships are forced around the Cape of Good Hope, a 472% increase in alternative routing. The 2023-2024 El Niño drought exposed an existential climate vulnerability. As Lake Gatun water levels dropped, the Panama Canal Authority slashed daily transits. This also led to severe draft restrictions, forcing ships to offload cargo. Neo-Panamax engineering employs water-saving basins to fight water shortage. These advanced locks divert and recycle 60% of the water used, reducing overall water consumption. However, this recycling has an unintended consequence: salinity intrusion into Lake Gatun. The choke point cascade illustrates how the lack of rain drives global inflation. Climate-driven drought leads to draft restrictions and slashed transit slots. As ships bid to skip the queue and travel around Africa, shipping costs spike, creating global supply chain delays. The proposed Rio Indio project is a future adaptation to save the canal. This $900 million project would dam the Rio Indio to pipe fresh water into Lake Gatun. However, it echoes past displacements, requiring relocation for thousands and facing environmental hurdles. The history of the canal is a cycle of control. From the French forcing nature to the American harnessing nature, through to military and political control, we are now in Phase 4, Nature's Revenge, where climate-driven instability threatens the waterway's future.